to second, and Luciano couldn't field it. And now it's 6-4, and I think that was an example of thinking about starting a double play as opposed to making sure you get the out.
I'm a Giants fan.
Now, back to Willard and Dibs on 95.7 The Game.
I mean, we got into such a spirited Luciano conversation, and I did try to find a creative way to get the umpire in there.
Yeah, you did.
The umpire was brutal. I didn't love Bob Melvin going to Luke Jackson. Go straight to Doval. I don't care that it's not a quirky little save situation. Keep your win streak going. Doval also, whether it was because of the umpire or not, he got loose. He started missing the zone. He started giving up some line drives. And yes, Luciano's defense, all of these things, Luke Jackson, all of these together are why the Giants lost. That was the most brutal loss of the year.
By far the most brutal loss of the year. I mean, you put up 6, and we talked about the Giants' record when they score 4 runs. They're almost unbeatable when they score 4 runs, and yet you're up 6-2.
I think this is the first loss of the year where they scored 5.
It could be.
First time they lost
Very
this year
likely
where
would
they
be.
scored north of 5.
Yeah, I mean, you're up 6-2, and you've got a chance to bring in your closer, and you've got a win probability of, 90% going into that last inning.
Let's throw this immediately to FP, who's on with us now. And first of all, hey, buddy, how you doing?
I mean, you guys go ahead. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll just sit here and listen.
No. We're
I'm doing good. How are you?
We're good, but we're in a serious space today, FP. Damn it, because of this loss. And so I'm going to throw the question right to you right now. Ahmed's defense versus Luciano's defense. Luciano's offense versus Ahmed's offense. How does it balance one another out? What's more important?
I think defense is always more important, especially when you got a great pitching staff. And the big league's a tough place to learn how to play shortstop. You guys have heard my takes on Luciano all along, that he needs reps at that position. There's so many little intricacies about when to turn a double play, when to make a play, when to get it out, the time of game. The game sped up on him last night in the 9th inning. That's a ground ball that if it's above your waist, you field it with your palm facing down. If it's below your waist, you field it with your palm facing up. And that's just like shortstop 101. And what he did is he had dead feet. And once you have dead feet and you sit on the ball, then your hands become dead too. So you got to keep your feet moving there. And he even said in the paper, and I was talking about it last night, that he just had his glove in the wrong position. And I don't know in all my years of baseball that I've ever heard anybody say they've had their glove in the wrong position. So that's concerning. And I don't know defensively if he's a major league shortstop right now. He had a nice game offensively. He made some good plays defensively before that. But I feel, and this is just a selfish thing, a lot more calm when Nick Ahmed's at short. Just like I feel more calm when Pat Bailey's behind the plate or Kurt Casale's back there. And that's no offense to other guys. But, we've seen bad defense the last couple of years with the Giants. We have. And I don't know if it's guys out of position. I don't know if it's guys that just aren't good defensively. But all of a sudden, you got the gold gloves on the left side of the infield. Tyro's picking the hell out of it at second. Lamont Wade Jr. has become a really good first baseman when you didn't know if that was going to be the case when he first moved over there. Pat Bailey behind the plate. Now you got Matos, who I think still learning in center field, and same with Ramos in left. But you got Yaz in right. So this is a decent defensive team. And now with Luciano at shortstop because of the Ahmed injury, I think obviously you've weakened yourself defensively. But it's not like Nick Ahmed was an automatic out at the plate. Is he the force that Luciano is? Probably not. But, they're both hitting in the bottom of the order. So, I don't know. I'm just a defensive guy. And I think, like I said, reiterating, I think shortstop's a tough position to learn when you have a team that needs to win right now.
You're talking about reps, and I'm looking at his baseball reference, and he's played 2,673 innings at shortstop across all levels. Isn't that enough reps for you to figure out which way to point your glove on a ground ball?
Should be. Absolutely should be. But, the 9th inning in a major league ballpark, with the game on the line as a rookie is a little bit different than, Bakersfield on a Tuesday night in front of 20 people. So I don't know if the game sped up on him or not, but he sat on that ball last night. And we were talking about, we had the right guy on the mound for his demeanor, and Camilo Doval, he's got a slow pace, and he's a ground ball away, even though all hell's breaking loose right now. He's a ground ball away from the Giants winning this game, and there's a tailor-made double play right to the kid, almost a Sunday hop right around the belt. And then once you drop that, I mean, we were all thinking about that because you just can't you can't give a team an extra out on the road. You know, we have that silly rule that it's a save if it's a 3-run lead. But talking to Dusty Baker and a lot of managers, like on the road, 4 might as well be a save. And so that was just one of those things where you can go back to, they could have added on last night.
Yeah.
Camilo could have started the 9th. There was a lot of, second guessing, and I think people second guess because they don't know how to get it right the first time.
FP Santangelo hanging with us here, Willard and Dibs on 95.7 The Game. The Giants will try again later tonight in Pittsburgh. FP, I'm interested when you said, because you used the phrase right now. Like, I don't know if Luciano's a major league shortstop right now. Can he ever be?
I mean, I always think that defense is something you can improve on. I think offense, you can work as much as you want and swing in the cage. And it's only, the ceiling's only as high as what God gave you. Really, like, if a guy like Barry Bonds goes in the cage and hits all day, he's going to be great. If a guy like myself does it, I'm going to be a 240 hitter. But I think defense is something that it's a mindset. And if you work at it, you could become better at it. I know Wade Boggs, for instance, was a terrible defender in the minor leagues, making 40, 50 errors a year. And he won a couple of gold gloves in the major league level. So it's just about reps and getting better. But it's also, there has to be like baseball acumen and a feel for the game too. And I think those are things that playing the position at the highest level, because you get the speed of the game up here is way different than AAA. The speed of the game up here is way different than AA and A ball. I mean, things are moving. I mean, you saw O'Neill Cruz last night, 120 and 121 miles. There's nobody in the minor leagues that hits the ball 120 miles an hour. So the base runners are faster. The infields are faster. The exit velo's faster. The game just moves quick here. And if you're not moving with the speed of the game here, it's going to bite you in the ass. And last night, I just think, I'm just watching as a guy that played shortstop the majority of my career. I watch Luciano closely every day in batting practice, and defense is something that he's going to need to work at. His feet are slow, his actions are slow, and I think sometimes the game moves fast for him. That doesn't mean in a year or two he can be a shortstop, or that doesn't mean in a month or two you make him a left fielder. I don't know. That's not my decision. And I don't know, based on, a 23 and 26 start, if the Giants can afford to wait around to see if he can play shortstop, if stuff like that rears its ugly head again.
Are those things that he can improve upon? You talked about slow feet and slow hands. Is that something that as an infielder you can get better at, or is that more of an innate skill that you have to have going in?
Did you see Rocky train with Apollo Creed?
Yes.
Okay.
You're familiar that that's a movie, right, FP?
If he starts chasing chickens and jumping rope, I think it's foot speed. I think yeah.
6 raw eggs for breakfast.
There's all kinds of things you can do to increase your foot speed. I always think like your 40 speed or your 60 speed. There's things you can do to like maybe shave a tenth off, maybe from a 4.6 to a 4.5. But most of that's God given. But with foot speed itself, you got rope ladders, you got jump ropes. There's all kinds of things you can do. And I don't know what Marco's training thing is in the off season. But I mean, the way we're talking, I don't think he's that bad. I just don't know if, you had the initial question was, Ahmed or him. I just like track record. I like guys that can make the play. I like looking down at my scorecard as a broadcaster and putting 6-3 on the piece of paper before the play's even made. And I feel like that's what you do with Nick Ahmed, and maybe you wait a little longer with a young guy like Marco Luciano.
Okay, here's my next question, FP, because there's at least been enough discussion about, I'm not sure if he's a shortstop. Okay, why is he still there?
I don't know. I saw your tweet the other day where you said, why wasn't he the opening day shortstop?
Well, no, that's what I would have done. But here, I hope you understand where my question's coming from. Farhan Zaidi says at the end of last year, we've got to give runway for Marco to be the opening day shortstop. Then he's not. Then Ahmed gets hurt. They don't bring him up. They bring up Casey. Then they bring up Marco. It's almost like you're saying, we're not sure if he's a shortstop, but you keep putting him there. So, if you don't think he's a shortstop, try him somewhere else. But they keep putting him at shortstop, then not having any belief that he's a shortstop. I feel like there's organizational messaging problems right now.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Casey Schmidt was doing a decent job at shortstop when he was here. And his at-bats and his approach, maybe the numbers weren't there, but his swing looked a lot better to me this time around than it did last year. Did you guys see what Tyler Fitzgerald did the last couple of days in AAA?
I don't think they've gotten him out yet.
Yeah, he hit 2 home runs last night and 2 more today. He's hit 4 home runs since they set him down. But he was playing timid. I mean, that was the right move. Tyler Fitzgerald wasn't playing with the same swagger and confidence that he did in Scottsdale in spring training. So maybe he'll regain that in AAA. But I don't know. I think if you're developing and you're thinking you're not going to be a playoff team, then it's fine to let a guy like Marco Luciano play shortstop for 162 games and see what you get. I just think due to need with Ahmed right now that they're just giving him a go. Maybe they thought like with Matos and Ramos that it's time to just unleash the kids and see what happens.
Yeah, and unleash him they probably will, at least until Ahmed gets back, and then it becomes interesting. What do you think about Blake Snell tonight getting back on the bump after being injured? Does his ERA go up or down from 11.57?
Oh, it's going down for sure, and it's going to continue to go down all year. He's got the resume and the Cy Youngs and all that stuff, and he threw 5 no-hit innings, striking out 10 his last start in Sacramento. He only walked 1. That was against Oklahoma City. Threw 60 pitches, and 41 of those were for strikes. So apparently he's worked out his mechanics. His legs are underneath him now. It was kind of a rush job based on a late sign. And add that on to stuff we've talked about before where you're the new kid in class. I think he feels more comfortable as a Giant. I think he ironed out his mechanical issues. Apparently his fastball command was really, really good in the minors and was really, really good in the side piece. So I'm expecting big things from the guy. He's going 5 innings tonight, 75 pitches. So hopefully that's 5 innings with Blake Snell, because you never know, because he's effectively wild, and that's how he's won a bunch of Cy Youngs, or 2 to be specific. But I think it's just a boost for this club. But when you talk about the guy on the other side, Jared Jones throws 100, and then schemes tomorrow throws 100, and we're just hoping Olivia Dunn's at the ballpark tomorrow. That's all.
Nice. Yep. Shout out LSU.
FP, I know you're with the team. How are they holding up after a game like that?
They were all on the Roberto Clemente Bridge after the game last night, and they were going to jump, and I told them, don't.
Okay.
It's just one game. They're fine. Talking to Joe Rizzo, he said he came over on the team bus today, and I walked because Joe's lazy, and it's only 0.8 miles.
Yep.
He said everybody was in a good mood today. So, yeah, everybody's yeah. In baseball, you guys, it's 1 of 162. Like, last night's as bad as it gets, too. Like, there's not going to be a worse one than that. But baseball players are resilient, man. You come to the yard the next day, and it's a new day, whether you went 0 for 4 or 4 for 4. That's the beauty of this game. You get a game every day. It's not like football where you got to wait around a week.
Don't say that it doesn't get any worse than that, please.
Dude, come on. A 4-run lead in the 9th with Doval on the mound?
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking, wow, this could be a fun night. Let's grab some beers. And I just went back to the room. And, at this point, very rarely does a loss affect you as a broadcaster, because I've been doing it for so long. But last night was a tough one, man. That was just go back to the room and watch highlights of other games.
Oh, man. FP, thank you, sir. Always good to hear your voice.
All right, man. Thanks for having me on. Have a good show, you guys.
Okay, brother. There he goes. FP Santangelo on the scene for the game later tonight between the Giants and the Pirates.